What's going on, everybody?
What's up? What's up?
I'm good. How are you?
So we've made it to episode number 5. I'm not gonna get as hype as I usually do because I get loud and yeah, gonna care about the neighbors today. But we have made it to episode number 5. It is 3 weeks late, but better late than never. Maybe is that what they say? Is that one of them?
Absolutely.
So here we are. And shout out. So it is the month of June right now. Um, Juneteenth. Yeah, yeah, Juneteenth is upon us. So if you look out probably tomorrow on the True Designs website, which is Truforic, TRUFI, no, what? TRU, the number 4IC.com. If you look on the website tomorrow, you will see some Juneteenth shirts. The offer we're doing right now, all Juneteenth shirts are $19, no matter what the size is, until the 19th of June. After that, they go back to regular price. So, like I said, if you go to the website tomorrow, you'll see some of the Juneteenth designs that we have. Jamari is wearing one that we did. This is one from recently this year. So, yeah, so all June t-shirts, $19 until the 19th of June in honor of Juneteenth. All right. So guys, are y'all ready? Um May was uh mental health awareness month. So that is why we're doing today's episode. Fuego is going to join us in just a minute. He's having some technical difficulties with some of the man-made items. So, but he'll be here in a minute. I want to introduce our special guest for tonight, Mr. TL Rose. He is the owner and founder of Getting in Tune Life Coaching. Certified. He's certified. He's not just saying that he coaches people in their everyday endeavors and stuff, but he is actually certified. So, Mr. Rose, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Well, good evening. Thank you for having me. It's truly a pleasure to be here. So, Getting Into Life Coaching Services is basically a service like any other life coaching company, where we basically do the best that we can to help you figure it out for yourself. Life coaching isn't necessarily therapy, while it is. However, it's not me telling you that you need to do something. Personally, yes. Professionally, it's basically you trying to find it out for yourself. So we're a full service life coaching here in Fulton County, Georgia. I do virtual visits. I do in-person visits. I do telephone visits. It really doesn't matter. Basically, I'm just trying to help people get what they need or get back on track.
Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, if you are in need of any type of coaching or anything of that nature, you can definitely hit Mr. Rose up. His information is at the bottom of the screen: Facebook, Instagram, phone number, and email. All right. So, yeah, I say we just go ahead and jump head first into this. Is there anywhere you guys would like to start? Um, start.
Well, I think that we should always start with like the definition of, depression, just so we all have a principal place to begin the discussion. Um, the definition of depression and mental health.
Okay. So, Troy, if you want to go ahead and
So I was put on the spot with that. I wish to say or can you
I'm
give me
working on it
the
right now.
definition? And I would have had that the politically correct definition for depression. But I can pretty much mental health is your mental well-being. It's your personal mental well-being. Everyone has a different mental health. Everyone handles things differently. Everyone has a different approach to things. And so basically, How you handle it is your own mental health, but there's a right and a wrong way. Most of the time, our subconscious will tell us if it's the right way, or we'll know if there's something that we're doing that's probably wrong. And we ignore it because that's just what we do. Like, we're gonna do what we want to do despite the fact, or irregardless of whatever may be happening. We approach it the way that we know best at that moment. Is that a good thing? Absolutely not, because we always need to try to think about what it is that we're about to say, approach it a different way. I personally tell people, write it out, text it out, read it out, delete it, and then do it again. Because your initial response to everything is, especially if you're being attacked, is to attack back. So when it comes to certain things like that, I'm just like, write it out first, text it out first, get that phone, text it, and then once you read it, delete it, and then do it again. Because chances are you were mad the first time, you don't remember what you wrote in this text. You don't remember. If you're me, you don't remember what you wrote unless you're really mad, and then you might be able to conjure up a few more things. But if you follow that advice, then you'll definitely get a better response, because people are always waiting for your response.
So let me ask you this. I remember a while ago they had the videos where people were like responding to text messages, and like they would change the word. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like let me give you an example. Like your mom texts you something about do the dishes, and then your reply would like do the dishes yourself, and then a backspace, and change it up. Yeah. So now I'm thinking that must be therapeutic then. That must be therapeutic. Just say what you're gonna say, backspace it, delete it, until you arrive at a place where you feel like your response is rational. Is that a good word to use?
I would agree.
Okay.
I know I do that a lot. Like my first, not to cut you off, but like my first thought is to, oh no, no, I'm gonna get you together real quick because you done made me mad. And then I'm like, you know what? Okay, I could be a little nicer, but let them know I'm still upset, but I ain't gotta say all that. Then I type that, I'm like, you know what? Okay.
I am so the reverse of that. Like I respond politically correct because I'm like, when I attack, you gonna know
You
it,
attack.
it's gonna be real. It's gonna be to the point. It's gonna be thorough. So I may respond first, like, oh, okay,
Fuego's
okay.
here, guys.
Fuego is
What's up?
here.
Hey,
Hey, Fuego's here at work.
Hey, you made it. That's all that matters.
Right, that's all that matters. What's going on, world?
and we're happy to see you.
So basically, we just kind of went through defining depression and mental health. Depression was more so like I'm summarizing, I might not be correct, but a constant feeling of sadness or loss of interest, basically deranging from something different than normal activity, and it doesn't consist of one event. And then mental health is basically a person's condition with regard to their physical, psychological, and emotional well-being. So we started there, and then TL Rose was telling us that, basically when we going through stuff, or we have to respond to a certain situation that maybe not in our favor, that we should write down how we feel or how we want to respond. He said you could text it out, or you can write it out and delete it or throw it away, because chances are by the time you come to yourself, it's a whole different perspective.
Okay.
So, and then James and I were just talking about, like, me personally, like I always try to give, and I'm not gonna say it's the best thing for me, but I always try to give the politically correct response, what's acceptable. And then, like, in the back of my head, like, I have all these other things going on, because, and then if I decide to take that route, like, it's just gonna be cutthroat.
Yeah, I understand. To,
Cutthroat.
I prefer the
Like
cutthroat.
serrated knife cutthroat.
I, I prefer the cutthroat way, but I do subconsciously give the politically correct response sometimes. Some very few times.
I mean, I think one arena that we always try to is our jobs, you know,
Sure.
because we don't want to lose them, at least not yet.
And Troy,
James,
we
what
talked
you
about
gotta
this the
say?
other day. Listen.
There are people that generally act out of emotion. You can't help a person that acts out of emotion. They
Don't point
tend
at
to
me.
just always they just tend to always respond out of emotion. Their first response is definitely it. They have to definitely be talked off of ledges. Sometimes we get into it with supervisors, we get into it, with coworkers, we get into it with upper management. No matter how you do it, I don't necessarily apply that the person is always right because of where they sit. Because that's not the way that it works with me. I try to, as a minister, I try to take things at a different approach, and so sometimes I may have to go to the elders of the church because, and they may not be elders of the church, but I may have to go to the upper to be able to get the response that I need. One thing I don't tolerate is you speaking to me any old kind of way. We're not going to. That's where Trevor comes from. You're not going to speak to me any old kind of way because I'm somebody's child, and I will
Yeah.
whoop you.
Did you just?
He said,
He
"Whoop y'all."
did. He did.
No, but
And so
okay.
we don't want Trevor to visit. He does not visit often, but there are some times that he comes, and so I will whoop you, and that's that. And so I'm glad that I kind of work in the atmosphere or the environment that I work in where I work from home and I don't have to interact with people face to face. I do interact with people over the phone when it comes to getting in tune. People sit in front of me, but that's not me doing a lot of talking. And so I have the ability at that point to put on my face and just look. But you won't be judged sitting in my chair. So I won't judge you if you're a client.
Okay. So let me ask you this,
But if
because
you're
the first thing you said was about like people responding out of their emotion. Do you think that there's like just a typical filter that you should go through, as far as the thought process before you respond to situations? And go ahead, I'm listening.
everyone's different. And so you can't necessarily say how it is that you would desire for someone to how you would desire for someone to respond because you don't know what their mental is. So let's kind of go back to the beginning and
Hmm.
let's kind of take it from there. Whereas mental health in the Black community is something that's not discussed. It's something that we all go through, but it's something that we suffer in silence. The first reason why we suffer in silence is because we run the risk of going to someone and explaining to them or talking to them, sharing with them our circumstances or our need. And then we run the risk of everything that I've told you, me hearing from someone else. So people suffer in silence because they don't want their business regurgitated. Unfortunately, it's the world that we live in. Pastors suffer in silence because they're busy trying to protect and aid and cover the church, that while they're praying for the members of their congregation, no one's praying for them. And so they have no covering because there's nobody to cover their back. So that's why I don't know if you remember a couple of months ago, maybe it was even last year, where there were so many members of clergy committing suicide. There were so many members of clergy dropping dead because they were suffering and they had no help. because no one was taking care of them. No one was praying for them. No one was asking if they were okay. And so I remember hearing, leaving church one Sunday, I remember hearing there was a pastor in Alabama that the members thought that he went home to change his clothes in between service. And that man went home and he hung himself. So on a Sunday, what happened? But mental health is something that we don't discuss. Christian people don't necessarily think that it's okay to have Jesus and a therapist. They think that Jesus is all that they need, and that's not. Because the reality is that he has destined everyone for the position that they're in. James works in what he works in. Fuego works in what he works in. Jamari, you work in what you work in. And I work in what I work in. And so all of those positions were destined by God. So the reality is that he created people in mental health positions to be able to help and aid any and everybody. So it's okay to have Jesus and a therapist. Definitely okay. When we break our arms, we go to the hospital and they reset our arm and put it in the cast. So are we not? Is it not okay to have Jesus and a doctor? So
Valid.
I'm sorry.
That's a valid point.
Yeah. And so we have to be able to normalize therapy. And so if people don't want to go to a psychotherapist, then let's normalize life coaching. If you don't want to go see a life coach, then let's see a counselor. No matter who it is, see someone that's going to be able to help and aid you from where you are to where you need to be. And that's the problem that we have. Some of us are afraid in life because our parents taught us to be afraid. Reason why I say we're afraid because our parents because they said stranger danger. They said don't take candy from strangers. They said so we listen to those things. There are things in our lives that we were taught in our childhood that have stuck with us in our adulthood. Some of us come from the homes. I don't know if any of you come from that home. What goes on in my house stays in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably one of the, in my opinion, is one of the biggest lies ever. Because sometimes we need to let what went on in the house out so that we can get the help that we need. Because some people are being abused in there. Some children are being abused in their house. How many of us know, how many of you know about children that commit suicide because they're being bullied? The babies are killing themselves because they're being bullied, because they're not getting the help that they need, because they're afraid to tell their parent that this boy is beating me up and taking my lunch money. I'm coming home hungry every day because he's beating me up. So my solution to that is kill myself.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. But I think this comment here speaks a little, speaks a little bit about what happens in my house, stays in my house, and things that we're told as children and things. Shakur says, what about the toxic masculinity trait in the Black community that tells our boys that it's not okay to cry or show any kind of emotion because it's looked at as being weak or less of a man? I've heard it.
I've heard it too, and that's a problem for me because I believe that it's definitely okay to cry. I know plenty of men that will break down, masculine men, macho men, whatever. I mean, I'm a crybaby, period. I cry at the end of a cartoon movie. So
I still cry watching The Lion King.
Okay, so I cry at the end of a cartoon movie. My daughter and I like.
Don't you dare. Go ahead.
We like to watch iCarly, and there was a cross episode of iCarly and Victorious. At the end, I cried. So it's okay. It's definitely okay to cry, but that's what they're taught. Mm-hmm. Why is that? Why is that the way that they're taught? Each parent, I guess, to each its own. It's like a pit bull. Pit bulls are not mean dogs by nature. They're taught to be mean.
Yeah. Understandable. I mean, I never heard in my house, at least, that it's not okay to cry. You know what I'm saying? I was always told that it's okay to cry. Sometimes you got to cry to get it out. Sometimes that's the only response that you can give, and that in itself can be healthy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know there are times where I can't do anything but cry, whether I'm upset, happy, sad. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's the only release that you have. And as a man, there's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with that. We have tears for a reason.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like screw the whole definition of what masculinity is, what masculinity means, because you define yourself as a man. That's how I feel. As far as the crying, I can't really speak to that. But as far as toxic masculinity, I know before, probably like years ago, I used to work in food service, and I enjoyed talking to people. I was very personable. It didn't make enough money that I would like to make, so then I went into corrections, and it was just completely like it was just toxic as hell. Like from going to training, you had to be this, you had to be this stature, you had to respond this way. You know what I'm saying? And it was in all actualities like you could still follow the rules and do your job and be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Without having to meet up to the stature where everybody felt was like the status quo, what it means to be a man, or what it means to get your respect, or what it means to, get things done. And for me personally, in that situation, I had to do some different things because I wasn't about to go in there scrapping every night. I had to use my brain. I wasn't no pushover, but methods that worked for other people didn't work for me. Sometimes my conscience would jump in, and that's why it's like I feel like you have to define, like, we all have goals and things that we need to reach, as far as like growing, or starting a family, or personal goals that you have. And it's like at the end of the day, like, you have to be yourself. You have to find out, I'm not gonna kill myself trying to prove how much of a man I am. I have to use my intellect. I have to use my wisdom. I know what my personal strengths are, and that's why I feel like even with the whole crying ordeal, I don't feel like it's weak. I feel like it's a tool that's necessary to get you where you need to be.
I can agree with that.
Are you crying now, Jane?
Not yet. Give me like another 15 minutes. I have a timer.
Oh, okay. Got you.
A timer.
Yeah, I have a timer. I cry every Saturday at 8:33.
I'm dead.
That was the Golden Girls reference. I'm sorry.
And that's why I was laughing.
No, but then again, no, I know y'all cracking up, but look, so check this out. Then when I left corrections and went into truck driving for a trash company, now corrections was different because you weren't allowed to cuss and stuff over the radio because it's monitored. I go to driving trucks, and I mean the managers and everything, like, where the F are you? And they just talking to each other like this a good old time, like we at the nightclub. And I'm like, hold up, who the hell you talking to? I really had to like shift my mind at the level that I communicated with my surrounding, because I went from serving food, having people helping people have a good time, to being this person to command a presence in a prison, and now I'm driving trucks, and it's like they really don't care. Like, they can be really reckless, and I mean it's over the intercom, truck driving by, truck going in on each other. It was just crazy.
So, someone commented earlier as well, and I'm thinking it's a question. Can mental health come from neglect or not being loved or missing a parent?
Yes.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean mental health can come from anything.
Can
But
I interject real quick?
yeah, sure.
So everybody has a mental health is just something that you have.
Like, yeah,
It's the condition of your mental health. That's like what we're
right.
addressing. So when you say that, you're referring to like, a having a bad mental health. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, yeah. I'm sure that's what they're referring to.
Okay.
So mental health, again, as I said, is it's an umbrella. And so there are a lot of things that's covered under the mental health. So the well-being of your mental health is more so, like he said, what can become damaged. So it's really a mindset. It's really the way that you handle things. If you're abused, if you're neglected, of course that's going to mess with your mind some type of way. But at the same time, it still speaks. It still almost probably speaks into the where I said what goes on in my house stays in my house, because that person probably was not able to let it out. They were not able to get that buddy to say, I'm getting beat at home. It happens to children a lot that are in foster care. And whenever I hear anyone tell me that they're going to take in children that are in foster care, my first initial question ever is, are you doing it for the money, or are you doing it because you have the love to give? The answer that I'm looking for is the love to give, because people take in children for the money, and the children are still being neglected. They're in a situation because they were neglected or mistreated or abused, and then now you're taking them in. So now you're going to damage them even more. But there are some good people out here in the world that actually do have the love to give, and they take in those children and nourish those children and make the children to become good, productive citizens in the world. So it's really all a mindset. Because when you look at mental health, you're looking at mental health at all aspects. You're looking at special needs. You're looking at people that suffer from schizophrenia, from people that are just crazy, just outright crazy. It's all under there.
I remember the question. Mental health, can it come from neglect or being not loved? I have a friend who I'm not going to mention their name, but I realized they didn't have the best relationship with their parents, and it spills over into their relationships. Like that same connection that they were supposed to have, that was like nurturing, it spills over into every relationship that they have. And for me, like the pattern that I would notice was, they would be quick to correct someone else for doing them wrong, but yet the source of the problem was never dealt with. Like it was like you would never speak your mind to the person that is causing you this harm or this neglectful feeling. I don't think they, as far as the umbrella of their complete mental health was affected by it, but I do believe that their reactions with people who they were supposed to have a close relationship was affected.
I want to dive into what this comment is saying. Mental health problems can come from neglect, but the burden of maintaining that health or fixing it is on the actual person. It's like dating a partner who came from a toxic relationship, perpetuating those same habits instead of working on themselves. It's okay to acknowledge those problems, but you have to work on them through outlets. How do y'all feel about that?
I somewhat understand this, and I'm gonna tell you why. I can't honestly say that I've really been in a toxic relationship, but I have witnessed and dealt with, and I still sometimes deal with abandonment, like the abandoning of like people and things of that nature. I will stop talking to somebody because they drop a hair on the floor. It does not bother me at all. I don't care how long we've been friends. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. And I honestly and truly believe that's one of the reasons why I have not been in a relationship, because I cut people off. I just stop talking to people. If I feel something ain't right, if I'm bored, I don't care. I will abandon the hell out of you and not feel bad about it. And I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm going to be okay with it. And I think to an extent, I'm not willing to try to change. Well, no, let's call it $1 I'm not willing to work on that. I know I need to. I know I need to get to the root of the problem. because I do desire to be in a relationship with somebody. But so I kind of get parts of this comment. I do.
Yeah, I think reading the comment for me is like I feel like sometimes you could be so entrapped in whatever's going on around you, and how you censor information, and sometimes you don't know that you're in a toxic relationship. I feel like it really became a fad to use the word toxic, and people didn't really even understand what it meant. It was just something that they were throwing it around because they heard. But when you look at a lot of people's situations, and I think all of us, we actually did a show on that toxic self traits. We all have some toxicity that needs to be dealt with, and I do believe it's something that you have to deal with it on your own.
Hmm.
I believe that we can have somebody like, and please jump in if I'm wrong, T.O. Rose, but I believe you can definitely have somebody lead you to the process of understanding what is driving a situation to become toxic or driving your mental health to a negative place. But I believe that ultimately the decisions that you make, no matter how much you talk to me, it's going to be up to me to make the changes, to change things around me, whether that's get rid of a person or whether that's change the way I communicate with them.
Well, you create your own destiny when it comes to, so you have the right to dictate who and what you want in your life. And so I agree with what you're saying because you do have the right to tell. You do have the right to tell. Uh, we all have the art of goodbye. I know from past episodes um, of watching past episodes of this. I know definitely that Fuego has the art of goodbye. Down pat. And so everybody has their own approach to the way they tell someone to die. When it comes to toxic relationships, baby, you know if your relationship is toxic or not. You know. Most of us are afraid of being alone. So we stay in situations because we don't want to be alone. We don't want to wake up in the bed alone. So we deal with. And we suffer in silence because we don't have a good friend that we can go to and say, this is happening. This is happening. This is taking place. This is taking place. We don't have the ability to tell people because what happens is a snake isn't a snake anymore. Snakes don't slither anymore. They walk and talk and call you friend. And so you run the risk of everything that I've told James. James now telling you, and you now telling Fuego. And the reality is that the game of telephone kicks in. And so by the time it's gotten all the way around, it's nothing completely like what I started out with initially. If he beating your butt, your heart, get out. That's toxic. If he's spending all your money, get out. It's toxic. If you can't drive your own car, get out. It's toxic. If you can't order your own food, baby, it's toxic. Bye. Like toxic traits again is almost like saying you don't have your own voice. An indirect insult is worse than a direct insult. And the reason why that is because the person is indirectly insulting you and they think that you don't have the cognitive ability to know that you've just been insulted.
I agree.
I don't see anything wrong with shade, personally.
There's a difference between shade and
I mean, okay, is there really?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is. I feel like you in a playful manner, you can, tell if somebody throwing shade at you or whatever. Or even if it's a serious situation. I'm talking about the little comments that slide and you gotta walk down the hall before you realize, hold on, this, like stuff like that. And then you kind of find yourself in a battle with yourself trying to, should I respond? Is it worthy for me to defend myself, or is it worthy for me to make a drastic reaction? So I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Katrina's saying, what if you love, but you're not getting the same love back? Can that affect your mental health?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's almost like the daddy issues. And so some women, and I'll say it, and men, they have those issues where they have some daddy issues where daddy wasn't present, and there's a yearning for that father figure. And so they attempt to go out to look for who they thought
Mm,
daddy was.
mm,
And so they figure that daddy was, because maybe he wasn't there. So they figure that, and this is my example, daddy was a 6'9", well-built man that had his act together. But what happens is daddy was 63 years old and you're 15. And so you allow that man to manipulate your mind. And what happens is you deal with it. And I'm not saying that that happens all the time, because it doesn't. But in most cases, in reference to the question, you're getting the love that you think you want, and you're not getting the love that you actually want, because he's not giving everything that he or she is not giving you everything that you need, because they're manipulating and monopolizing on something that they know. So they're able to manipulate you into thinking that, hey, I can I can deal with this. I can do this.
okay.
So we're talking about mental health. How many of us here actually, because Berea just posted a comment about her actually addressing her childhood trauma. How many of us address what causes rifts in our mental health on a daily basis? Like, are we men enough to address that head on, or do we kind of brush that under the rug and keep it going?
I got a rug that has a bunch of stuff underneath it.
Well, it's time to pick it up.
And
it's a little musty under there.
No, I didn't say it smelled, honey. I have Febreze. Don't come for my rug. It just has a lot under it. Okay. I move the stuff to the side and I vacuum the rug once a month. You know what I'm saying? But I put it right back under there. But no, I have a couple things underneath my rug that need to be taken out and dealt with. Like I'm not gonna say I have like a hoarding issue with things that I've dealt with. Okay. Maybe slight hoarding. Because a lot of stuff I don't, huh?
I wouldn't call it that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I do have things that I know I need to work on. I know that. Why do I refuse to work on them? I don't know.
Is it because sometimes we have things that we deal with personally that we just don't want to deal with, and so that's why we sweep it under the rug, because something else comes to the forefront as a result of that. Uncovering one problem opens up another one, and so it's the domino effect.
Right.
I think that got something to do with it.
Yeah.
I know for me, I don't believe in going to war unless it's some spoils to be won. And sometimes, like the emotional stuff that I went through as a child, like I'll never forget it. But I feel like if it's not me resolving whatever that was, if it's not going to put me in a better place today, I won't address it.
I agree with that.
Some stuff, and it affects. Well, these are my friends, so we talk. I know when something's on James' mind. I know when something's on Fuego mind. I know when something pissed them off, and they just keep on going. So I feel like we all prioritize things differently. I do shout Berea out for that, because I feel like a lot of people can't really, they don't know how to approach family because the way things are set up and the hierarchy of who mom is and who dad is. And I really feel this way, coming from up north, like it is a lot of roots down in the south where it's like really set up to be, this is the matriarch, this is the patriarch, you don't address them as such, even as an adult. So just, being able to address something like that, especially with a parent, I feel like it's pretty brave. I feel like it's courageous.
Okay. This one's pretty deep here. So Monte said, I actually disowned my father recently because of how horrid our relationship became after many years. And even after his mother, my grandmother, died and was potentially murdered, I reached out again and he just left me in the wind. So I let him go. I even told his brother that I will not be burying him. I've tried for 19 years and I finally gave up. And I've been in a better place ever since.
Look, me and my dad did not have the best relationship growing up, which is probably where a lot of my anger issues come from. Yeah, it's probably where it comes from, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I hated my father, hated him to the point where I wanted to see him die. You know what I'm saying? But my mother always told me, hey, you're a child, stay in the child's place. You let him deal with whatever sins he put out there. They're going to come back to him. You just continue being a child. And I couldn't understand that until now. You know what I'm saying? And I got to a point where I was just like, you know what? She's right. Those are your demons. You're going to have to face them, not me. Why am I trying to fight your demons because you're afraid to face them? Yes, you wasn't here every day. Yes, you made promises and broke them. Whatever, you fell into the whole deadbeat dad category. I'll let you have that. That's not my issue. That's yours. So when you're walking around, you're just like, well, I wish I knew my kids better. Whose fault is that? That's not mine. That's your fault. And I'll let all those things go. Me and my father have a better relationship now because I made the decision that my mother was right. You know what I'm saying? I had to stay in my place. I'm not about to fight somebody else's mental health issues. I got my own to deal with. And it's sad that you're going through that with your dad. And you know what I'm saying, that's where your relationship is now. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. You got to make sure that you're okay. Because if you're not
okay,
and there's the art of goodbye.
Right. A lot of us check for everyone else to make sure that everyone else is doing good, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Hey, James will be the type of person to reach out to you and just say, I miss you, because he hasn't spoken to you in 6 hours. You know? Or Jamari will call you, like, what's going on, because I ain't heard from you in 10 hours. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we all have things that we have to deal with. We all have our own demons, our own battles, our own trials and tribulations that we're going through. And we got to make sure that we're good mentally before we can tend to the needs of others. Because if I'm not okay mentally, I can't be anything for James and Jamari. I can't be anything for my family. I can't be anything for my friends, because in my head, I'm a mess.
And that's one of the reasons why, like, whenever I'm going through my like little depression modes, or I'm in my thoughts or in my feelings, I don't answer the phone for nobody. I can't do it. I can't.
We got to send out a search team to get you.
Literally, you got to send out a search team, because I'm not posting on Facebook, and y'all know how much I post on Facebook. I'm not posting anywhere. Like, I go dark. I'm in a hole.
I personally don't like it.
I probably will continue talking to if I'm dealing with that stuff is my mother. She's probably the only person that I'll talk to on a daily basis. But other than that, you're not getting a call from me. You might get a text. I don't know. It depends.
Well, next time I'm gonna call Jeanette then, because I don't like it.
That's why I call her.
And listen,
and y'all better not have me on three-way, because I'm hanging up. But yeah, my mother's the only person I'm gonna talk to, for real. She's the only person. Granted, I know I could talk to my mother about anything. Some stuff I don't talk to her about.
I was about to ask that question.
Huh?
I was about to ask that question.
Yeah.
Everything?
No, I don't. Mainly because my mother, and that's where I get it from. My mother will worry. She will worry. She will worry. She will worry. And the last thing I want her to do is to worry about me because of some stuff that I'm dealing with mentally. Like, it was hard for me to tell her that I was diagnosed with depression. I didn't want to tell her that. I don't want
Oh
my mother worrying.
Lord, James, where you get that from? Where you get that from?
You know how my mama is, child.
I know, bro.
You know how Jeanette is. You know, but so a lot of times, and my mother hears it in my voice. She be, "You all right? Yeah, I'm fine. You sure? Yes, Jeanette, I am okay." I can't. I don't want her worrying about stuff. But that's where I get my worrying from. Like I worry a lot, you know, and I don't know. I don't know. Emotion.
Has anyone else been diagnosed with any mental health issues? I had to ask James if anger and bad temper was a mental health thing, but he said it all falls under the same umbrella.
It does, because there are different illnesses that fall under the mental health thing. So again, we have special needs. We have people that are schizophrenic. We have people that are just mentally ill. Anger is not necessarily a mental illness because it's something that we have. How you address your anger might be the answer to that. Because if you're one of those people that just fly off of the handle immediately off the bat, you don't think about necessarily your actions before you take them, that might be a problem. You might need to call me if you do that. But it's not anger. Anger is a natural occurrence. It's just like laughter.
I don't know. I find it weird that I enjoy being angry.
That might be the mental illness. Being happy about being angry.
But you know what? Even though I personally don't enjoy being angry, I can probably understand why. Because the rush that you have when you're angry, like you're just tingling all over and you're just like, oh, this feeling is amazing. Am I right?
And I get a lot of things done when I'm angry. I feel like I'm more productive, I'm more attentive to details, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Anger releases better endorphins than sex at that point. At that point.
Oh, that point. Okay.
At that point.
All right. So she said that I felt that on a whole other level because that's my biggest problem. I always isolate myself from family and friends because I feel like they burdens way heavy on me besides my own, and I never have anyone to talk to. But it seems like I'm there for everyone else but myself. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Do you really feel like that?
Huh?
James, do you feel like that with us?
Right, with us?
No, not with y'all. No, not with y'all. Not with y'all. And the only reason why y'all are not there for me is because I don't let y'all in. Like I really and truly believe that if I did let y'all in, which I'm not right now, not till we're like 50 or 60.
We probably end up fighting. We probably end up fighting.
What if I let y'all in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I'm a person that I prefer to deal with my issues by myself, and I feel like it's going to be a burden on anybody else. But I'm really used to just dealing with things by myself.
Like not even figuring it out, but just dealing with it.
Yeah.
So, can we touch on the topic of depression for a little bit?
Yes.
like the process of going into it, ways to lessen the impacts of the vicious cycle, and how to come out on top, and things of that nature. Um, like one thing for me, and I'm just gonna go ahead and speak since I did mention that I was diagnosed with it. One thing that I do when I am going through my cycle of depression is I don't do shit. I don't. Like I will lock myself in my room and I literally play Gold. I mean, I already play Golden Girls all day anyway, but I lock myself in my room and I watch Golden Girls all day. That's what I do. Or in order for me to escape the reality of what's going on, I sleep. Um, Granted, when I wake up, the same issues are still there, but
I mean,
I
does
sleep.
depression necessarily come from? Does it have to be a actual like stimulation, or can it be, thought life or?
For me, I can think myself into a depression. I can.
No.
Um, hmm?
So when you're going into your stages of depression, like, is there ever a moment where you feel like you have the strength to reach out to someone that can possibly help you not sink into that mindset, or no?
Hmm.
No?
No, because my whole thought process, even if there was um, there was something else that was stimulated other than me thinking myself into a depression. Once I have that stimulation, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to think myself into depression thinking about what stimulated it. With my most recent one, the one from last month, I thought myself into it after the stimulus had already happened, and I
We
just
got
got
another
irritated,
stimulus.
pissed off all over again.
You said what, Jamar?
What you said?
What about the stimulus?
What did he say?
Nah,
The
I was,
Biden
I was,
stimulus.
I was joking. I said
Not
we
that
got another
stimulus.
stimulus.
No, that's a happy stimulus. We're looking for number 4, Biden, if you're watching. But anyway, but yeah, I don't. Mm-mm.
So let
Not
me ask you
talking to
this,
somebody is
James.
not going to do anything for me. Say what?
Let me ask you this. So is it
Okay.
is it is it a feeling? Is it like something that just sets in, or do you feel yourself going to that place?
I feel myself going into it, like it's stages of it.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, it's stages of it
That's
for
what
me.
I was kind of thinking, because before I took my leave of work, like I remember talking to you, I remember talking to Dave, I remember talking to Fuego. Um, I talked to my first lady, I talked to my pastor. It was like I just felt myself kind of slip into a place that I didn't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because of everything that was going on. I was working a lot, with my health conditions, that taking up my time, and I just really felt like my life wasn't my own. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel hopelessness, but I just felt that in a place where I was like I wasn't in control. Like I was just waking up every day to do what I normally do.
But with
I
that,
feel worthless at
but
times.
with you reaching out to James, myself, Dave, your first lady, like, did that help you in the long run, or did it just not have an effect at all?
So for me personally, I think that a lot of times when I'm doing that, I'm not necessarily looking for affirmation, but I'm kind of looking for confirmation, if that makes sense. I'm
Right.
trying to hear, what your response is, because by the time I didn't talk to anybody, I done had the conversation with myself multiple times. The fact that it's coming out of my mouth to another human being means that it's something that's been going on. I've been brainstorming about it. So a lot of times, like I'm just listening, kind of weighing out my options, trying to see if we on the same page as what my options are. I don't necessarily agree or disagree. It's really like me just going through this thought process and dragging everybody into it with me.
Hmm. Okay.
And so, by you going through the process and kind of quote unquote dragging everybody into it with you, what does that give you?
I feel like I
What
get
do you
confirmation.
glean from? Okay, so the confirmation, and that's the confirmation is based on you already made the decision, and you just it's confirming that that was the right decision. I'm not being funny. I'm just a little
Okay.
confused.
Okay. No. I get what you're saying. So with me, basically, like, I'm not gonna say that the decision is made by the time I talk to or reach out to somebody, but I have these courses of actions, in my head of how things play out. Like, I'm even that way when
Okay.
I respond to an issue or, so I guess when I'm reaching out, it's like I'm trying to make sure am I even in the right mindset to make the decision, or am I thinking correctly? Am I approaching it correctly? Am I missing something? Am I blindsided by my emotions? Or you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I get it.
Not
So for
necessarily
me,
hitting the nail on the head,
the
but
head on,
that
I get
part.
it. For me, sometimes if I am dealing with something, I tend to go to three people. And I'll ask three people the same question, basically just to see, what their thought pattern or process is on that. And based on what they say, obviously, because I've gone to an odd number, you know, I haven't necessarily made the choice, but I'll go with whatever the odd number is at that point. I'll go with whatever the majority says. And now, if I go to three people and two people say yay and one says nay, then obviously I go with the yay because it was probably my thought anyway. But what I did want to say was it's very important that when we're going through things, if we don't want people in our business, some things are very minute, some things are very large. But we need to definitely stop suffering in silence. I recommend getting a tablet, getting a notebook, some type of something. I have one here on my desk. It's Tweety Bird because I love Tweety. And you know, if there's a thought, if there's something that I write, I write it down, so that I'm able to release it, because I will walk around with the weight of the world on my shoulder, and most people do that. They walk around with the weight of the world on their shoulder. We're able to help others, but we can't help ourselves. And so, as a mental health professional, I've learned how to channel different aspects of things. I've learned how to hide my own emotion when it comes to things. If you come to me and you tell me that you were abused as a child, because I've gone through that, I might cry with you. So I've kind of learned how to put on my sunglasses without putting on my sunglasses, if that makes sense. Because nobody wants to go to see someone that's as weak as they are. Yeah, that makes sense. Why would I come to you? Like, who goes to a bad hairdresser? Honey, your hair look a mess. Why would I go to you?
I think I think people do like to commiserate though. I think I see a lot of that going on.
Well, that is why misery loves company.
I'm always careful of that. The names I called about when I'm calling people to kind of pick their brains and drag them into my situation, I call them about the good things too. I just try to see what's going on, with them, what's positive. A lot of times that's my focal point of the conversation. And I never just want to get in a relationship with anybody, whether it be a friendship or, a business partnership or whatever, where it's all negative. Everything we talk about is negative, because that can be draining
as hell.
And that toxic.
I will run.
I ain't gonna run. I'm gonna listen, but I'm like, I'm gonna listen. I'm probably gonna cry like a little baby and a little beehive once we get off the phone, but it's draining. It's very draining. Like, I had this one person, they would just call me and lay so much stuff on me. And by the time I was done talking to them, I was through. I was through. Like there was never anything positive. It was always some BS. And I couldn't take it no more. It was a lot.
So
And I'm already emotional as hell. So
why do we tend to keep people like that around? I mean, in my opinion, if someone's always going to be negative, bye.
if you found the answer to that one, please give it to me.
James, you too nice. You too
I know
nice.
there's people out there that
Too nice.
and ask, or say, "Hey, Fuego, like this is what I'm going through," and blah blah blah. I try to be a good friend and listen, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, why am I listening to this?
I feel like we get to a point where I have to be like, you know what? Now listen, I'm just gonna tell you like it is. You need to stop your shit.
Right.
And I mean, I've had to have that conversation with people because it's, sometimes it's just ridiculous. Like, it kind of drives me crazy when it's like every answer to the problem is the same as the problem, and it's always, you can fix it. You got yourself into this. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't like to look at themselves.
And the other day, I was faced with a situation, not with anyone that I know personally, but with a customer, and he was blind. He came in with his caretaker, and he was just negative from the beginning. So instantly, my reaction is to not talk to you. I don't have to deal with that. I'm gonna let somebody else deal with you. But he was just spreading negativity. He made a phone call. He was attacking, and all he kept saying was, "I'm blind. I'm blind. Like, I don't understand that I'm blind. I'm blind. I'm blind." And I'm texting my district manager who's standing next to me, and I'm just like, so since he's blind, will he see this fist flying at him? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of it, like the way he started talking to my district manager, and I was just like, I couldn't be you in that situation. He was just like, why did you get so quiet? I said, because I don't have time to have that type of energy rub off on me. I'm having a good day. I'm just like, I don't know, maybe he needs a hug or something, but I'm having a really good day and I don't want that type of energy to rub off. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, well, he's going through something, Adrian, he's blind. I said, and I'm not. But even if I was, would that be my approach to strangers that I don't know? You instantly got to make everybody feel sorry for you because you're blind?
Well, okay. So for that, I think that every person in America, especially in the Afro-American community, needs to take sensitivity and diversity training. I think that everyone needs to take it because
You the person they be running from at work. Sensitivity. They be running from you. They like close the door.
I think it's important that everyone takes it so that they know how to approach certain situations, because people that are impaired visually, mentally, impaired in their hearing, they can't talk, they all think the same thing, that everyone understands their circumstances, and everyone doesn't understand their circumstances. I have a special needs child. And so what happens is when I'm out in the street and I see a special needs person, my heart softens for them immediately. I was out to dinner the other day, and there was a special needs young man in the restaurant who had gone to the bathroom. He stopped right at the table next to us, and he began to, I want to say, dance. And I looked over at him because initially I was ready to grab my gun, but it's too close.
Not Susie.
I was ready to grab Susie because he was too close. And then when I looked at him, I realized who he was. And then I instantly softened my heart because my daughter is that way. And so I want people to look at my daughter the way that I looked at that particular young man, if that makes sense. And so right. I don't want people to be afraid of my daughter, who rocks for comfort. She rocks for comfort. And that's probably what he was doing. He was trying to comfort himself because he had gone to the bathroom by himself, but he was there. He made his way back to his family, but I mean, the hurt that he could have ended up in as a result of stopping at someone's table with someone that doesn't understand that could have been dangerous for him.
Right.
So
I understand.
I think that, you know, this man that's blind and negative, he's mad at the world because he's blind. And so it's everybody's fault that happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Fuego's fault. I wasn't there.
Well, Fuego, I mean, kind of wanted to throw a punch at him.
Right.
So, like,
a punch that he could not see coming.
He would have felt it.
For that matter.
Not only that, but then Fuego would have went under the jail for that good assault. Because you hit him and he ain't see it coming. Bam, he laid out on the floor now. Fuego gone to Cal County.
To where?
On what's that street is on?
Fuego gonna be in there talking about. Fuego gonna be in there talking about. It was my mental health.
But first of all, I made a promise to myself I'm never going back. They don't let you control the TV in there. I had to watch Sons of Anarchy for a week.
Wait, you had a TV? All I got was daggone. I had Waffle House for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I didn't eat Waffle House for 6 months when I got out of jail.
They did Waffle House in jail?
Right. Why did you get Waffle House? First of all,
I don't know.
We're not doing
Wait
this.
a minute. That's a problem.
No. Waffle House is good when you really want it. Now,
that is a problem. Stomach was probably jacked up.
Listen, it was 6 of us in that room. My stomach was fine.
6?
Wait a minute. How did I eat Waffle House without a gallbladder?
First of all,
Anyway, never mind.
We're not.
That's not what we're talking about.
So anyway, back to the statement at hand. People that go to people with toxic situations that are always complaining, that are always, you know, it's something on the inside of us that attracts people like that to us. We have healing spirits.
We have healing spirits.
We have healing spirits. Well, maybe not you, but we might need to tap into God and ask him about that one.
No. Fuego is the defender.
Fuego is the defender.
He's not a healer.
Not at all.
I am the defender. Yes, I am.
He is a defender.
I am. But that's why this works.
All right, so Monte said, while I have no issues with sensitivity training, there needs to be a line drawn between being respectful of people and where they came from and people being incapable of receiving constructive criticism. Jay knows me as a fellow Army vet, and I do. We work together. There are some tenderhearted people who cry wolf, and the second they don't like what is said, and people get buried under being insensitive or being disrespectful.
This is why I don't even like wolves.
Are
you talking about literal wolves? I don't, because this could go either way. I don't. Moving on.
But why is that though? Why you do have those people who, woe is me, and all of this, and the moment that you say something that they don't want to hear, granted it might be something they need to hear, all of a sudden you're the problem.
Yeah.
I think sensitivity training should really help to distinguish the difference between, you know, kind of nitpicking with somebody and what an expectation is. Because I do feel like people fall, you know, they fall under that category where they feel like, oh, it's me, you just picking on me, you just picking on me. But I mean, especially in the professional world, sometimes there is an expectation. Either you meet it or you don't.
Right. But hey, that could be their mental illness. They want the entire world to feel bad because they feel bad. And if you're not feeling bad in the way that they are, then they're going to make you out to be the problem. Look, y'all teach the class on sensitivity training. Just give me the Cliff Notes. I might read them.
Cliff? They still do Cliff Notes?
No,
They do?
Exactly my point. Y'all give me the Cliff Notes. I may read them.
I bet that I made it to where you got to pay for them now, don't they? You got to pay Cliff Notes.
Probably. Yeah. Everything on a subscription these days.
Yeah. Right. But I bet they on Kindle. No, too much? Okay, sorry. My bad.
Wow.
My bad. Okay.
So, I think that was a good one. Guys. Mental health awareness. Just check on your people.
Check on your people, man. Check on me.
Yeah, check on them because 9 times out of 10 they're not all right.
Right. Just check on everyone, man.
I am not okay.
We know. Michelle recently came out with a book. What is it called? Check In? Something like that?
Michelle Williams.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Check In. And like it's just look at a person who has her fame and her fortune, and she still goes through issues. You know what I'm saying? Because she's a human being. Some of us are humans, and we have issues. Just check on it.
Mental health issues is no respect of persons. She don't care.
Did he say that some of us are human?
Yes, he did.
He did. Just move along. Go with it. Just go with it. I'm telling you, just go with it. Just be like, you're absolutely right, Fuego. You are absolutely right. That's what we do. We don't ask any questions.
But all in all, that is my ending. That is my closing thought on the situation. Check on your people, man. You check on your friends, your family, even if it's just a text, a phone call, to just say, hey, I was thinking about you because it's Monday. Sometimes that goes a long way. If your friend is James and you're calling his phone and you cannot get to him, please call me because I'll pull up.
He'll pull up. He got a key. He'll pull up.
And I will scare the living daylights out of him when I'm standing in the doorway.
Nah, I don't know how he's going to get in my bedroom, but okay, whatever. What?
I can pick a lock.
What lock?
And don't worry. Whenever James is acting like that and I can't reach him, I'll just call Benny because Benny can reach him.
This is true.
Yeah.
But no, I can honestly say, and you're included in this as well, Troy, the circle of friends that I have now, I honestly and truly, granted, I don't open up about everything. I don't.
And you at least 2-3 times a day.
So, but the circle of friends that I have now, I wouldn't trade y'all for the world. I really wouldn't. I honestly and truly would not. Even though y'all get on my nerves. Well, not Fuego. Yeah, Fuego really does not get on my nerves at all. He really doesn't.
And I get on your nerves? That's what you're saying?
Yes, you and Jamari get on my nerves. That's what I said. Because you're muted. Y'all keep it too real.
And why do you feel that way?
I don't care.
No, stop therapizing me, okay? Do not therapize me. I know this is a mental health awareness episode, but you're not gonna therapize me at the end of the show. You should have did it while we was talking.
Why you think that?
First of all right, so we're done. We're done. Does anyone have any last comments or last thoughts or anything of that nature before we do exit?
Yes, I do. Can we not let a whole month go by without doing an episode? Dang.
This will never. Well, every episode is once a month. Oh,
for now.
Let's go back.
I got it. What?
I said it's once a month for now.
For now. We're trying to get to the point where we're coming more frequently because we're actually trying to do some things with the podcast in order to take it to the next level.
Right.
So, in the future, hopefully in the near future, we'll try to do every 2 weeks. Hopefully. Yeah. I definitely want to, we all do want to thank Mr. T.O. Rose for joining us on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
really appreciate that. For trying to keep my crazy self together because y'all know I'm crazy.
I try.
Yeah.
Just a little special.
No, I'm very, very. But yeah, so if you guys are available, those of you that are watching, please check us out. So because we missed the last month, we're doing back to back. This upcoming Saturday, the topic is things I wish I knew before becoming an adult. #hindsight.
Right.
I don't know about y'all, but I wish somebody would have told me about credit. I didn't know I needed good credit till I was 19 after it was all jacked up already because of cell phone bills and mamas get light bills in your name and stuff.
I was about to say some of us had jacked up credit before 18.
Right.
Oh,
Some of us come out of the womb with jacked up credit because we.
oh my God.
2 or 3 days old.
I ain't
I'm
saying
praying-
that's my story, but I am saying
That ain't my story. That ain't mine. But
It
those
ain't
of you
happened.
that is your story, we praying for you. Huh?
I say ain't my story either, but I've heard it.
My God. But so yeah, we thank all of you for joining us on tonight. We're gonna get out of here. And hopefully we will see you all.
Fuego's checking out now, guys. Gotta go.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we'll see you all on next week. Same place, same day, same time, 6 p.m. All right. Later, y'all.
All right, peace.
Bye.